Rebecca, it's really been a long haul for people in Victoria. How's the mood in Melbourne today?
Oh, yes, indeed, Paul. Melbourne, Victoria, which just last year, it's hard to believe, was rated the world's second most livable city, is emerging from 112 days of some of the most restrictive lockdown measures seen anywhere this year. So as of 11:59pm last night, retail pubs and cafes are allowed to reopen. Mask wearing continues to be compulsory here. But I can tell you, Paul, the mood is one of relief, and we expect Melbournians and Melbourne, who's famous for their love of coffee and cafe culture, as well as living in Australia's art and fashion capital, for there to be a bit of a flurry of activity as things open up again after such a long time closed.
Yeah, I can just imagine you must be really looking forward to going out, eating, shopping. But look, the coronavirus really resurging around the world, especially Europe. So are there any lessons that the rest of the world could take from Melbourne?
Yeah, look, that's a great question. And I think the key takeaway here, especially for those countries just beginning the colder months, is how hard it is to get the virus spread under control. Melbourne started its second stay-at-home order on July 8th, which in Australia, that's bang smack in the middle of winter. Now, the genesis of our second flare-up here in Melbourne came from a bungled hotel quarantine operation. And look, who's to say what would have happened over the last few months if that was handled differently? But what this does tell us and the world, regardless, is just how rapidly this virus can spread throughout a city. And we just have to look to the economic cost of the Melbourne lockdown, as well as the significant spikes in calls to mental health services, to know that this needs to be taken really seriously.
So Melbourne gradually coming out of lockdown. What's next in the state of Victoria and for Australia more broadly?
Well, as you know, Paul, being in Sydney, it's spring now in Australia, and soon the summer months where people take their vacation will be here. I think the next couple of months is going to be really critical in seeing how successful the measures taken by the state and federal governments to quash the virus are going to be longer term. And I think really to see how the social distancing and hygiene measures stand up to the Aussie love of a good old-fashioned barbecue and a bit of a splash at the beach. Because basically, I mean, look, life looks different now down under, and I think collectively we're cautious but optimistic that we've got at least some understanding after this Melbourne experience of how we're going to proceed in this so-called COVID normal world.